What's going on, guys? Today I've got a retro and current gen video game pickup video. Let's get straight into it. What's going on, nerds? Great to see you again. In this video, it's the first video I've done like this in a long time, and it is retro video games pickups and also some current gen video game pickups. So yeah, I've lost my way in terms of picking up retro games lately, and playing video games in general. I just haven't had the time to play many games, so I sort of stopped, and I'm finding a trend of videos I'm watching on YouTube where I'm watching more people playing, doing retro video game stuff on there, that I wanted to get back into it. And then there's also a few current stuff that I wanted to play as well. So yeah, let's get straight into it and I'll show you what I found. First game I found, it's an NES game. So yeah, I never owned an NES when I was younger. In the UK, the NES was a bit of a flop. It had been out in America a long time before, and then in Japan. And by the time it got to us, the stuff that we had, like microcomputers like the Amiga and even the Sega Master System, was more popular, and they were actually better than the NES. Yeah, they were better, so we didn't really, it wasn't a big success here, so not many people. There was one guy that lived down my street. I used to go around and play his NES, and the only reason that I even wanted an NES was watching the movie The Wizard, and when they played it in that. Super Mario Brothers 3, so I really wanted that game, but I didn't ever get it. So yeah, I've just been dabbling a little bit in NES games, just picking up a few here and there and playing a few. So I found this one really cheap. It's called Digger TK Rock, The Legend of the Lost City. So I'm not aware of this game particularly. It looks like a game I used to play. I had a game on the Amiga called PP Hammer, which no one ever seems to even know exists, and I can't even find. Yeah, it looks like he sort of digs, and the artwork here, it's coming a little way, the artwork's really cool, I like that. It's quite unusual to find NES games in the box at a really cheap price like this, so I nabbed it. On the back, the game looks interesting, so I'm definitely going to check it out and have a little look at it and see what it's like. Okay, next up I nabbed another NES game. It wasn't in the box, it's just a cartridge. Again, it was cheap. It's a game I did play when I was a kid, and it's Marble Madness. So yeah, it's just a cart. Again, love the artwork on a lot of these old things. Very simple game, Marble Madness, but I couldn't, a couple of quid that was. I just thought, yeah, let's grab it. I'll probably go on eBay and try and get one of the black sleeves that they go in. Yeah, but yeah, happy to get that. Okay, next up we'll stick with Nintendo, and this one, now this is a game I always wanted to play, and I've never played it. I still haven't played it. I've got the cart, I haven't played it still yet. So this is the Japanese version, the Super Famicom game, and it is World Heroes 2. Now, I don't know if I'm wrong. I'm sure this was made by well, it's made by Saurus, whoever they are. But I remember seeing this game. I'm pretty sure it was like a Neo Geo game back in the day. I remember seeing people playing this on like Games Master, the show we had in the UK, where like people played games versus each other on the show. It was really cool, and it was the best way for us to really find out about new games. And yeah, World Heroes 2, it's a 2D fighting game, very similar to Street Fighter type sort of game. But yeah, some really interesting looking characters there. Love the artwork on that. Japanese cart, that one. So yeah, that's really cool to have in the collection. I was really chuffed with that. I won that on an eBay auction, and that was really cheap. Really happy. Okay, next up we've got probably from the console I played most as a kid, and that was the Sega Mega Drive. I picked this up for like £1, which was amazing. Had this in my local cash converters shop, and it is World Cup USA 94. I mean the game's probably a load of crap. I probably haven't even played it. I don't remember playing this one, but I pretty much bought it just for the nostalgic thing. I've always been a big football fan. Not so much nowadays. I've sort of gone off football a bit, but for nostalgia, I love that. It's made by US Gold there. And the case, I like the front cover of that case, it's pretty cool, and the game on the back there, it doesn't look very good. But yeah, it's £1, so another one for the collection. Okay, next up is a handheld, and when I was a kid I spent a lot of time playing like handheld games. I've got here behind me my boxed Game & Watch. This is a reproduction, it's not an original Game & Watch. It's a reproduction that the Nintendo Club were giving out when I had a Wii U. And yeah, I used to play handhelds a lot. Obviously there was the Game Boy, the Game Gear, the Atari Lynx, those consoles. And before those, pretty much what we played were like little LCD games, which were very, very basic and were just like one game, that's all it was. And yeah, a company called Tiger Electronics were the ones that pretty much distributed most of those. And this is one of those. It's made by Tiger Electronics and Grandstand, and it is Double Dragon, the LCD game. So there's no batteries in it, so it's not playing or anything. I haven't tested it out yet. It's just got it today. But I owned this one when I was a kid. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I must buy it. It was actually quite cheap as well. I've been told it does work, so I've got to try that out. But the Double Dragon, the actual game Double Dragon, was one of my favourite games growing up as a kid. I used to play that a lot, so I scrolled beat 'em up, and I owned this one. I used to play it a lot as well. So yeah, really chuffed to grab that. It's a different thing for the collection I can put up somewhere on display. Okay, so now we're going to get into the current gen stuff. So I haven't picked up an Xbox One game in a while, but I really did have to get this, and it is Dragon Ball FighterZ. I've been playing this quite a lot actually, and even Raiden's surprisingly good for a 4-year-old kid. And yeah, it's much like Street Fighter. It's a 2D fighting game. The art style of this is phenomenal.
Majin Buu, you have to face me.
In actual fact, it looks better than the actual Dragon Ball Z cartoons. Let's just see if we can get in there. So yeah, we got all the characters there. This character's, I think it's called Android 21. It's like a made-up character for the game. I haven't really played any of the story yet. I've literally just been fighting, I've done a bit of arcade mode. I've been fighting with Raiden and just playing against the computer. But yeah, really awesome game. Enjoying it so far. So yeah, glad to get that. Okay, next up, I've bought myself a brand new console. So as I've mentioned, growing up, I've never really owned many Nintendo systems. When I was a kid, I was very much a microcomputer player. I had an Amiga 500. I was very much a big fan of that, and I would love to procure myself one of those at some point. That would be brilliant. And yeah, from there I got a Sega Mega Drive. I bought that specifically for quite a few games that I wanted on that particular system. As I said, I'd never had an NES, and I'd never really been into Nintendo as such. And then, yeah, I never had a Super Nintendo. I've never had a Super Nintendo. I never had a Nintendo 64. And the only Nintendo consoles I've ever owned was a GameCube. But even then, I didn't really buy the Nintendo games. I bought a GameCube because the Resident Evil franchise went exclusive on there for a time. That was timed exclusive. And they brought out the original, the Resident Evil original remake, and then Resident Evil 4 come out on the GameCube way before any other console. I loved the GameCube. The GameCube still goes down as one of my favourite consoles I've ever owned. And then, yeah, I never owned a Wii. I mean, that entire period of gaming history I find repulsive. The Wii, I find it repulsive as a console. Yeah, I know there's a lot of Nintendo fanboys out there, probably crucify me for that. But I just do really dislike the Wii. The whole sort of, the whole motion controls thing has just dumbed down games for me. It was just made it very casual and family orientated, which is not my thing. But you know, it's fine. Everyone's entitled to, you know, their own opinion and to have a Wii if that's what you wanted to do. For me, I had a Xbox 360 at that time. I much enjoyed that, the games on that. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I never had a Wii. I had a Wii U. I liked the Wii U. I bought that mainly because I liked the look of the new Mario games they brought out on it. They look good, and the controller with the screen in it, I thought was an interesting idea. I didn't really like that controller. Found it very hard to play certain games on it. I mean, I did have Call of Duty. I tried to play that on it. It was okay, but yeah, the console was okay, but you know, it wasn't brilliant. I didn't want to keep it. and very much the games that come out there didn't really bring many games out that wanted me to keep it, so yeah, I got rid of it. So yeah, the only Nintendo consoles till now that I'd owned were a GameCube and a Wii U. So yeah, I've gone and got myself a Nintendo Switch. So yeah, when this came out, I wasn't really fussed, to be honest with you. I didn't really think it looked like something I'd want. I don't really play games on the go that much, or I never had up until now. Now I'm thinking maybe I will a little bit. And plus the fact that I have Ryden now has found Minecraft, so he's been playing Minecraft, or making me build him stuff on Minecraft. And you know, now he can play my Xbox and I can play this. That's great. So yeah, I've been getting into watching like YouTube videos, more gaming videos, people, game collectors, retro gamers. A lot of retro collectors have been doing videos on the Switch, so it's piqued my interest slightly. And I sold my old mobile phone, just renewed my contract, got a new phone. Sold my old Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, and I got well over 250 quid for it. So I thought, well, I mean, I don't get to spend a lot of money on myself massively anyway, other than me pop figures. I thought, what should I do? I've got a big lot of money, what should I get? And I thought, let's get a Nintendo Switch. So yeah, really chuffed to get this. The game I got with it, I got The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The cover looks awesome, like that. And yeah, this looks like a really good game. I've been doing my research on it, looking at what games there are out on it at the moment, what I would like. And people might crucify me, but again, I've never been a big Mario fan, and I've never been a big Zelda fan. The only Zelda game I've really ever played was the one on the Game Boy all those years ago. Yeah, I never had an NES. I never had I never had a Super NES. Okay, when I said I only had a GameCube and a Wii U, actually that's wrong. I had a Game Boy. I did have a Game Boy back in the day. I swapped it for a Sega Game Gear though, so you know I didn't have it that long. But yeah, my experiences with Mario and Zelda games are not massive. So I did my research. This looks brilliant, and I know there are a lot of people out there. Most Nintendo fanboys are loving it. A lot of people who really like Zelda games are in two minds about this, because they say it's very much different to a normal, regular Zelda game. So I should have no problem with that, because I don't really know what a Zelda game is meant to be like. I've never played any of those, N64 ones that everyone loves. So yeah, it'd be good to get into this and give this one a go. And it might spur me on to want to play some of the old Zelda games, in all fairness. I love games like Skyrim, and I like you know, those sorts of games. So this looks like it could be similar. The art style of it actually looks very similar to Shadow of the Colossus that came out on the PS2. So I'm bound to like this one. It looks good. So I got this. And the last thing to show you that I thought I had to get really was a case for the Switch if I'm going to transport it around. And this case is a Zelda official one. Really nice like pattern here, and then this, you know, image of Link. Okay guys, so that's my video game pickups video for today. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope, you know, going forwards there's going to be a lot more video game content on my channel, as I've sort of lost my way with my whole retro nostalgia vibe on the channel and my video game collecting. Because in all fairness, if you weigh up everything that's been important throughout my life, video games has been the big constant thing that I've always loved, that and movies. And obviously the Funko Pop collecting sort of took over. I'm calming that down. I'm only going to buy nostalgic style pops really, or Rick and Morty ones, because that's sort of what I do like in Game of Thrones. I'm going to take a big back seat on the pops to a degree. I'll still be collecting them, so don't worry if you watch my pop videos, I still will be collecting them. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more video game content on the channel from now on. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, as always, please give it a like. That really helps me push my video up the YouTube algorithm, so people actually watch it. Yeah, let me know what you thought of the pickups. What do you think of the Switch? If you've got any advice, if you own a Switch, any advice on what games I should get on the Switch. I do like JRPGs. I've seen a few on there that look good. So yeah, just any advice on what's good to get, what's not good, and what to avoid, that'd be great. And yeah, if you haven't already, guys, subscribe to the channel for more videos, more retro nostalgic stuff and collecting. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you next time. Take it easy.
It's campy.